So, hey everybody, on this gorgeous Saturday. So, today we're doing a check-in moment. So, moments with Z. So, the moments with Z, like I did share, those will be literally just spontaneous moments where I do check in and share just a little bit of my own personal experiences. Not my greatest strength, vulnerability, as much as I'm a big believer in it, but it comes for me with safety, it comes with trust, it comes with my own safe space or community. So I consider my safe spaces people that I've got that intimate relationship with. And even there, as a person who's extremely private, it's not easy to share. But because, of course, on the avant-garde mental health space, when it comes to mental health and mental empowerment, it's all about making the knowledge to be palatable, right? That you can relate to it, that you can pragmatically actually use it, right? So part of that obviously also entails me sharing and getting to be vulnerable and intimate with you to share the reality and how I personally use that, those practices that I'll share from mental collaboration, which I refer to as mental check-ins, where you mindfully check in with yourself, where you're at mentally based on your emotional alerts. So when it comes to mental emotional management, as I've shared in my previous lives, that if you're going to manage your emotional self and be emotionally aware, it would entail being mindful of how you feel at a certain point and also understanding what informs that. What's the significance of that? The significance of that is the fact that you then able to better relate with your environment and your space. You know where to begin to negotiate, to navigate your space, whether you're going to need a little more space from social interactions, whether it's ones you are forced to be in, be it work, be it at home, because there's certain things you can't just shove out or push away or just block out because it just makes you, for lack of a word, an ass of a person. Because you can't just be mean, you have to be considerate of the environment around you, because it doesn't just affect the people that you're relaying the interaction with or having the interactions with, but it also comes back to inform your well-being as well and how you're relating to others. Because as you know, no man is an island, so you want to be able to be vulnerable within your space. Maybe at a certain point you might not be able to communicate what you're feeling, but it's okay to say, hey, not having the best of days, could do with a hug, not in the best of spaces, or yeah, I'm okay, and just leaving it at that, but still keep it human and mindful. And the only way or best way to do that is being mindful that, hey, I'm not in the best of mental spaces, so I need to be more mindful when interacting with others, because it also means you will be easily triggered. Also, when you have an understanding and knowing of where you're at emotionally, you immediately can better regulate that so that you do feel better, so that you know what needs to be done. And now that ensures that you are not stuck in that emotion, because the problem begins when we get stuck in emotions for longer. Emotions are merely alerts to let you know, hey, this is the space you're in, this is what you need to take heed of, whether that's because you've been procrastinating and not doing work, and it's coming from either a subconscious level that's constantly triggering stress or anxiety, where it's not something within your physical external environment but internally. So where does this rant come in for this mental check-in moment? I think because today I myself, my chakras are feeling just all over the place, but I'm also mindful that there's also anxiety triggered in that. Now, once my chakras are not in order and they're just not grounded, once my anxiety is a little bit triggered, and especially to a point where there's an element of stress evident, you know, you'll see you just can't get things done, you just can't focus, the space is a mess, and you're trying to get things, but it seems like, nah man, a lot of things are stagnant. And then you realize, okay, listen, we need to be mindful what's happening here. It's not really a matter of time that you're lacking, but clearly something internally that needs to shift. So I thought, since I myself am needing to take that moment to collaborate, how about I just share that moment with you, that on a normal day, I'll probably be at my PC, since it is my working day and it is my lunch, probably just getting more work done. But I figured today, sit down, be mindful, because also in the midst of our realities, like I said, apart from having to relate with other people, there's work that needs to be done, and it also does entail you being in your best optimal mental well-being. And if you're going to be there, you need to do the needful and the practical work, which is as simple as taking a moment to pause, mind your feelings. Is it a mood? Is it an emotion? What informs it, right? What are the things that are there? What are the things that need to be addressed? What are the conversations that need to be had? What are you repressing? Because a lot of the things that we repress, a lot of things that we don't do, a lot of things that we don't address, they come up. And that's where we get entangled in emotions, negative moods, stressful moods, which when we get stuck in because we haven't addressed them with ourselves first, which is the most important, then and it just becomes a domino effect of negative emotions, which could lead to a point where, one, you're struggling to manage your stress, which then it will trigger depression, and that's what we want to avoid about getting stuck in emotions. That is a whole rant, and that's literally how I feel. Like everything is just that roller coaster spinning so fast. And being able to share this with you in my moment of checking in, I thought of writing it down, but I figured let's first check in, and since it's our Sunday self-care tomorrow, we'll get a moment to journal that, either before I go to bed tonight, or both, just before bed, and also when I get up for our Sunday self-care moments. Planning to have an early session tomorrow for our Sunday self-care, because I am working and I'm having an early morning as well. And right after that, I've got to get ready for our Tuesday check-ins. All right. So please, if you are in a space where you're either overthinking, which is common for overthinkers and the introverts, and also the extroverts actually get extremely anxious, but then they can easily, I wouldn't say rationalize, but depending, the most common coping mechanisms would be either focusing their attention on something else, repressing a lot of the time. And then of course there's the rationalization, where you explain things to yourself to justify them, so that you're kind of okay, but really it doesn't really resolve the issue, nor does it keep you from being either stuck in emotion, by triggered by emotion, because it's still there, it's still unattended, and subconsciously it's still going to come up, and it's going to have some kind of negative effect that inevitably will lead to stress triggers, anxiety triggers. And if we stay there long enough, no matter how mild the depression is, remember, all of these things, when triggered, have some kind of effect in your environment, and that comes back to you internally, because then you inform the energy around you within your space, but then also that energy feeds you. So you always want to be mindful to not only take your pause, right, which is the first thing, to pause and mind, know what the emotion is, address that with yourself, take onus of whatever needs to be done, whether that's a conversation you need to have, whether that's something you need to do. It might not require a third or second party, but just you and you, either accepting something and then putting something to action and following through, right? Tomorrow I'll touch on the benefits of doing that, and what hormones you actually elicit, and how they then come back to benefit your mental health, and also being at that optimal state, what kind of benefits you get to enjoy. All right. So I've had to be mindful of mine, and a lot of my triggers getting into today have been more of everything on my to-do list, where you're getting things done, but then there are more urgent things. There are things you need to follow through on and actually complete to the actual helm where they produce specific results. And that's where I've been stagnant, and it's more been a stagnation pragmatically for me, where I've been held back by either anxiety or fear of failure, of just perfectionism altogether. So you see the beauty of having that conversation with yourself and mindfully checking in, so that you understand that, okay, this is where my obstacle is, and so these are merely internal mental perceptions that I'm putting a block on myself, like little sabotaging behaviors. So when we talk about self-sabotage, what does that look like, right, in different contexts? So where you'd either stop yourself, either delay what you need to do, which leads to procrastination, which really comes down to just emotional regulation, but in a negative way that doesn't get you to get things done, which also delays you now from eliciting the necessary hormones to put you at that optimal state of better mental well-being and health. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy the last 15 minutes of my lunch. Merely having water. I actually had a high carb, fat breakfast, had a snack earlier, sugary, high carb once again. And now, just because I'm also in this anxious state and just trying to calm my mind and just have a sense of clarity, I thought I figured, let me just have water. Didn't have time to just get some fruit because me and Q's don't get along very well. So I was like, we'll pass on the fruit. We'll try something healthier later on when I get home. So anyway, now that I've managed to have this rant and do my mental check-in moment with you guys and actually share that and what it looks like, feeling slightly calm, a bit clearer, I can breathe better. And now I can also enjoy my water and gum and get ready to have a productive rest of my day. Anyway, I hope you're having a fun-filled weekend and doing the needful to enjoy and take it in a way that actually fills you, you know. And if you are indoors, please try to do something enjoyable. If you can check in and write, hey, please do that. If it just means cleaning and organizing your space, why not? But please don't forget to take the moment to actually step out, breathe outside, get a little bit of sunshine. It goes a long way. Anyway, it's been all from me, love and light, and let's tune in and connect tomorrow on our Sunday self-care. Love and light. Cheers.